From gorgeous blue sky to downtown Seattle, it's the Dinnernet, the only podcast where a dude's pressure washing the sidewalk about 5 feet away until about 5 minutes ago.
Our guest today is Uttam Mukherjee, co-owner of Spice Waala, an Indian street food restaurant with locations in Capitol Hill, Ballard, and Columbia City. Uttam, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What's up, Uttam? How you doing?
Good. How are you both?
We're good. We're chatty. We're feeling chatty today.
I think so, yeah. It's good for a podcast to be chatty.
Good banter. Good pre-show banter.
Yeah.
It's good for a podcast. You're chatty and you actually like each other.
Yeah,
Exactly.
No kidding.
It helps a lot.
Yeah.
Someone commented on that recently. They were like, it was the Matt Packmeyer show. They're like, you guys like each other. I can tell. So we were just yucking it up. And I'm like, but we didn't stay on topic here and here. They're like, didn't notice.
Didn't matter.
Don't care. It was just fun to listen to you buddies chatting. So
That's very sweet. We've been very fortunate with our guests. Like every single guest we've had so far has been so rad.
yeah.
Wait, why would you jinx that? Why would you say that before?
I noticed you're not rad. That's what he's trying to say.
Oh my God.
And why? That's what we'll find out in the round table. Why you're not rad?
Yeah. How dare you talk about my friend Uttam that way?
How was your week, by the way?
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the weather's turned.
Yeah.
This is what we all love about Seattle.
Right? It's the thing. It's the reason that we like it. Yeah.
It's funny because before we moved to Seattle, I think every time I came out to Seattle to visit, it was like this. It was beautiful, gorgeous blue sky. I was like, you guys are lying. It never rains here. And then I moved here. The first year it snowed in October in 2017. And Aakanksha and I were just like, what did we do? Why are we here?
That's how we get you. But you're still here, right?
I'm still here.
This is why.
So we moved from Cincinnati. And before that, I was in Pittsburgh. Before that, I was in New Jersey. And before that, I was in India.
Okay, you were all over.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the weather in Cincinnati versus here and Pittsburgh versus here. And
yeah. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, very similar.
muggy a little?
No, not necessarily.
No.
But it had, proper winters.
Okay.
Not as bad as New Jersey, but it had proper winters. So we don't miss the snow.
Yeah, no kidding.
Overall, which weather do you prefer?
Definitely here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think even here when it's the gloomy days, I still feel like there's sun once in a while. And like for me, that's enough. And if it's not going to stop me from going about my day, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
If it's just pouring outside and I can't do anything, that's when I feel depressed.
Yeah. I like how we're very convivially chatting about the weather here.
That's right.
I feel like my mom only wants to talk about the weather. Sorry, Mom. It's true. Mark, how was your week?
My week was good. I did all kinds of stuff.
You were all over the map.
Yeah, I'm going to try to keep it quick because there's 3 things I want to talk about, but
Oh, God.
I don't want to take forever on doing it. One thing I did was I went to the Pidgin Cooperative, a fundraising raft celebration at Substation.
Cool.
And
I
I
used to
didn't...
share a committee kitchen with them.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know those 2 dudes have bands. They each have their own band. So Seth has a band called Field Tripping. It's sort of like a punky instrumental kind of band that he plays bass for.
Yeah.
And then Zach has a band called The Low Lonesome Sound. That's kind of an indie, like Americana. Sort of reminded me of Silver Jews in a way. David Berman kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was cool. And that was like a really great event. They made their Kickstarter goal and we're kind of going for a stretch goal.
Yeah.
So congratulations to them.
Yeah. Awesome. Can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah, that's
I'm
going
really
to be a
excited.
great place. I also saw a band called The Ocean at Royal Room. So this is the second week in a row I saw an ocean-related
Yeah, I
named
like
band.
the ocean blue, which is how you refer to the ocean. No. Did you see the real ocean at last?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be weird if I referred to the ocean that way? I'm like so like poetic about it.
That was my favorite.
The ocean blue.
That was my favorite joke from last week. I'm just so funny.
I like that too. So the Royal Room is a really rad venue. I don't know if you guys have ever been, but it's kind of like a smaller, more affordable triple door in a way. And so it's a really cool venue. And The Ocean is a kind of ambient jazz duo featuring Morgan Henderson. And Morgan Henderson is such a, like, if you know, Seattle music star.
Okay.
He was in the Blood Brothers back in the day. And he also was pretty integral in recording with Fleet Foxes and the Cave Singers. And so this ambient jazz project is really cool. It has also Joel Coupland from Constant Lovers.
I don't know
Awesome.
any of those people are.
And neither do I.
I want to, though.
Mark sounds so knowledgeable.
I'm a little intimidated.
Oh my God.
Are you embarrassed?
A little bit, yeah. And then the third thing that I'll close out on that I wanted to tell people about was the Wing Luke Museum has a walking tour. It's the Red Line Heritage of the CID.
Cool.
And I would recommend that to anyone. It's really informative. It's really poignant in a lot of ways. The history of the Panama Hotel, that's a place that a lot of the Japanese Seattleites who were displaced by Executive Order 9033 ended up leaving their belongings to retrieve when they returned.
Oh, wow.
But so many of them didn't ever retrieve them.
Yeah.
And so to this day, several trunks, suitcases, boxes of books are being stored at the Panama Hotel.
That's so cool.
So if you go to that coffee shop, there's a cutout.
I was going to say, there's a hole in the floor, like a viewing window of all of the trunks and suitcases left behind.
Very sad, but very cool.
Yeah, it's incredibly sad, but also like very, I think, essential to take in and ponder. Anyway,
that Panama Tea House also has good tea.
It does.
They have lovely drinks there.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
Now, what'd you do, Meg?
I feel like I wanted to comment. I feel like we went to the Wing Lake Museum like 20 times as a kid, but I haven't gone since I was 13 or something. And
We haven't been yet, and I really want to go.
The gravitas was lost on a 13-year-old white girl in Seattle. Like I were like, oh, this shit again, And so I would love to go as an adult and take it in as a historian, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't a historian yet. That was the problem.
Yeah.
It is incredibly densely packed with stuff too.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of exhibits there.
Yeah.
And I got a membership there like back during the lockdown, and I just like wanted to support it, but I never had a chance to go until just this weekend.
Nice.
So it was like good to finally get over there.
Yeah. We also went to a museum. Stephen's birthday was on Thursday, and we took the afternoon off and went to the Washington State History Museum in downtown Tacoma.
Nice.
I keep looking away from the mic to look at Mark, which is right next to the old Union Station, that beautiful old train station. And we learned a lot about Japanese internment camps, as well as like the Depression and Hooverville. And they have a lot of exhibits on immigration and just how Tacoma changed over the years and just had different districts. And it was really interesting. They're very thorough. They did a lot of stuff on Native peoples and objects that have been discovered, and the Clovis people and Kennewick Man and things like that. So I learned a lot of stuff.
Cool.
It was good, and we went out to dinner, and I'll talk about that later. Probably one of the best meals of my life.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear more about that.
For Stephen's dinner, And then we went out to Enumclaw for Mormon Mother's Day and drank uncaffeinated drinks. And like cold cut sandwiches and cheesecake, and it was very tame. But afterward, I was just doodling around on Google Maps, and I found a little orchard. I'm writing the story on cideries, and there's an orchard, cidery, and country market just north of Enumclaw, and we stopped by there. It's called Rockridge, and that's where my treats come from this week.
Nice.
Instead of H Mart or Grocery Outlet. So I got some weird stuff there, and it was really beautiful, and we sampled the cider at the tap room. It was a weird time. It was fun. We'll chat about it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Uttam, you own 3 locations of Spice Waala.
Yes.
And the most recent one was in Columbia City.
Yes.
Well, could you tell us a little bit, just for anyone that doesn't know, what Spice Waala is and what its concept is?
Yeah, so we are an Indian street food fast casual restaurant. We serve 2 types of food, kathi rolls, which is essentially Indian wraps, and chaat, which is kind of small shareable tapas style plates. And we opened in the South Lake Union Market in 2018 and had our first location 2019. So
Yeah, first location,
Capitol
Capitol
Hill. Yeah, exactly. That's the OG one.
Yeah, then Ballard, and then
Yes.
Columbia City recently.
Yeah, Columbia City, February 2024.
So Columbia City, you started up as a regular Spice Waala menu.
Yes.
And then you pivoted to fried chicken.
Yes.
Right. And then you recently pivoted back.
Yeah, I think the problem was that the only people who talked about it were you on the show. And every time you talked about it, I sent it to my team. I say, see, the fried chicken's good. I'm telling you guys. And then no one came.
Really?
Well, so Columbia City is interesting. So we live in the neighborhood. Our first Spice Waala was actually going to be the Off Alley location. We signed a lease and everything in 2018. And then the floor was shaky. The roof was shaky. We said, we don't know what we're doing. So we walked away. So we love the neighborhood. We think it's extremely cool, very diverse. But so when we found the location in end of 2023 and beginning of 2024, we just jumped on it. And we had a great run from February of 2024 till about September of 2024. It was hitting all of our revenue targets. We were happy. And suddenly the revenue just dropped from underneath our feet. And so from October 2024 till about till March 2025, like it was maybe half, if not less than that, the revenue of the previous year.
Wow.
And so we were just, reeling in like, what do we do? This is terrible. What's going on? Like the loss in revenue resulted in losses for the whole company.
Sure.
And so we were kind of debating like, what do we do? Do we just shut it down? Do we, walk away? What's going on? So we decided to switch it into a fried chicken menu just to see if we could excite the community. We thought that some kind of new news would bring people back out because we thought that's what happened in 2024. It was new to the neighborhood. So we thought that's why people were out. So this would do the same thing. I think we got a lot of people that were just confused why they didn't have their kathi rolls in the chat.
Yeah, right.
And we got a lot of regulars that were vegetarian and vegans who were vocal about that.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of people that loved it and came back every single day. But the mix just wasn't productive for us. We were still doing extremely low revenue. So we gave it 2 months and then we said, it doesn't seem to be worth it. We're getting so many negative comments and stuff that even a few negative reviews on people saying, where's the kathi rolls?
Yeah.
So we've gone back starting May 1st to the kathi rolls in chat. I'm personally disappointed, but because I really think that the fried chicken was great. Like I would eat it every day. It was not heavy. It was not like, like that oily and stuff like that. And I think the surrounding menu around it, like the snacks and everything were very complimentary.
Yes.
But
that was such an enthusiastic yes from Mark.
I said
our only supporter.
I never had it, sadly.
So I'm personally very sad about it. But I think a couple of things that we learned, I think, was one, if we wanted to do this, we should have changed the name, changed the branding, changed the Google listing, changed everything about it. But two, I think the thing that we've learned also is that we are known for kathi rolls and chaat, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very fulfilling to know for our current locations. But it also means that if we deviate too much, then, it might not work.
Right. So when it comes to the fried chicken metrics, were people just not coming at all? Were you only serving fried chicken? I know you weren't doing the kathi rolls. Were there other?
It was a fried chicken menu. So it was fried chicken, vegetable pakoras. You could get it as thali, which was with dal and rice. Okay. And then there was a variety of snacks. So it's probably 9-ish items on the menu, maybe a little bit less, maybe 7. You couldn't get the kathi rolls in chaat. And we weren't doing chai also from a drink standpoint. But yeah, the metrics that we were looking at was just revenue.
Yeah. Was it worse than before you switched to the fried chicken?
No, and that's the whole thing. It just was the same.
It was exactly the same.
And so for the amount of effort that we were going through, the amount of training and learning, it just felt like it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so I was very curious about the idea of not really waiting any longer.
Yeah.
Because there's sort of a theory that, if the weather gets nicer, people start to come out and want to be out in the sun and the takeout window might work better. And you obviously decided, I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to pull it now. Was it simply an idea of you're just kind of taking too many hits on the review end of things, or?
Well, so if we had seen a slight lift in revenue because of the fried chicken, because of the excitement, I think we would have said, okay, fine. If when the weather changes, then yes, it will increase. But we did have a few very nice weeks and the revenue was still the same as previous to the fried chicken. So from that standpoint, if we weren't seeing any growth, then it didn't feel like we were going to see any incremental growth because of the change in weather. So we felt like just from a simplicity process, operational side, running 3 locations, it was just better go this way.
Yeah.
I mean, our original idea was to do fried chicken for a month, do burgers for a month, do pizzas for a month, do barbecue for a month. And we were really excited about all of that because it's all concepts that we've been debating and playing around with at home, playing around with the specials. And, you've tasted pizza and stuff like that. So that's what we wanted to do. But just the excitement from the customers just wasn't there.
Okay.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Because every single special you guys have run has been a killer. It's just been so good.
I'm trying to imagine the fried chicken. What do y'all do to it? Now I can't have it now, but just out of curiosity, what did I miss?
We did it as a special in the other 2 locations, and it did really well. So we'll definitely do it as a special.
Okay.
I'm super excited to keep introducing people to it.
Text me when that happens.
Yes, for sure. But we brined it for 24 hours, and then we marinated it for another 24 hours. And then we added a little bit of flour just to get a little bit of crunch, but not to dredge it or coat it, and then just fried it. But the fact that it was I think it was super juicy because of the brining. It was super flavorful because of the marinade. And it was just very light because there was no coating or dredging or anything else.
Nice. Was it on the bone?
It was on the bone. Okay. So it was a full quarter per order.
Wow.
And it was $12 for a quarter of chicken, dal, and rice. I mean, it was a meal more than I would eat myself, which is saying a lot.
That's a ton of food.
Yeah. It was $12.
That's an incredible deal.
Yeah.
Columbia City fucked up. That's wow.
It's
and so did I for not going there.
It's so frustrating because people ask us all the time, what are the cheap eats around the city? And
Spice
I was like, you guys have it. It's there. That is just a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. To have a leg and a thigh.
Yeah.
Those are the pieces I want.
Yeah, exactly.
And-
I do think in Columbus City, we don't have seating. So I think that's one problem with the location in general. So like, I think maybe if we had seating, maybe people would have wanted to eat fried chicken fresh hot, maybe. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, this is sort of maybe a corny idea, but I also noticed that you don't get the aroma of the food outside at
No.
all.
Yeah.
And it feels like,
We just need fans inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's not the worst idea.
but yeah, I mean, speaking as someone who I really am tired of fried chicken, but
Yeah.
I was not tired. I mean, when I had that, I was
Yeah.
like, this is what I want. It's
That's
so
awesome.
good.
That's so nice to hear. Thank you.
Waala also has a free meal program, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, can you chat about that a little?
Yeah, so it's called Bhojan. Bhojan means it's a feast in Hindi. So Aakanksha is a PhD in social work, and her focus in her thesis was food insecurity. So we always knew that when we started Waala, we wanted to have a social impact part of it. So when we started in the farmers market, we were doing a percentage of profits would go to a nonprofit that we were supporting for that week. And then when COVID hit, we started just cooking free meals and just handing it out from the door in Capitol Hill, actually. But not enough people knew about it, so not enough people were coming to us. So
Okay.
we just quickly pivoted and said, okay, fine, then let's find partners who already have like hundreds of people coming to them and just distribute the food through them. So we partner with Mary's Place and Community Lunch on Capitol Hill.
Great.
And we hand out 100 meals per week to those organizations. We cook vegan Indian meals, essentially, so rice and a curry for them. And the whole point of that was that they just felt like there was not any diverse food and vegan food available for them. And there, a lot of the stuff that gets donated to kitchens and stuff like that is usually like cans or meat.
Right.
And so that's why they were like craving for this diversity and this vegan food. So we've been doing that since 2020. We've done probably 55,000 meals.
And even
to date.
now, are you doing it the same rate
Every
now?
single week.
Yeah?
Every single week, customers donate on when they're buying food, or we have customers who've been donating to us since 2020.
Wow.
And we take all that funds, just goes directly to the cost of food, and we don't take anything for our operations or anything. Aakanksha and I donate our time to it. We donate the resource of the restaurant, etc., and we just serve food. Yeah.
Incredible. What a guy. What a guy.
Yeah, that's
You
rad.
and Aakanksha. What a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy she is.
I mean, she's a brainchild, honestly, of
Yeah.
it. So
You're a good
yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just do what she tells me to.
Nice. Good plan. It's working out great so far.
So Uttam, you have 3 locations of Spice Waala, and we were talking before the show about the idea that a lot of times the perception is when a place expands, that means that they're doing super well, everything's going gangbusters, and that's not necessarily the case, right?
Not at all. So I told you what Aakanksha's background was. My background was in marketing, brand management. And so when we came together, we put everything onto a piece of paper, onto an Excel spreadsheet, more like it. And we always knew that the only way we felt we could make sense of this business is if we had multiple locations and we're actually scaling from there. The key for us is that we have certain people who are central, who go across different locations, and the only way that it makes sense to have those people and actually be able to provide the training, the hands-on resources to our day-to-day team on the ground is if we have multiple locations where their salary and everything is spread across, right? So when we had one location in Capitol Hill, we were doing fine, but I had to be there every single day, dedicated 100%. Couldn't do any specials on a regular basis at anywhere else, or couldn't like engage in marketing, or couldn't do anything else, right? And so I think being able to scale to the second and then the third location has presented a lot of opportunity to us in terms of growing our brand. Now people in Ballard know about us, the people in Capitol Hill, Fremont, etc. But just because they're like 10, 15 minutes away from a location, right?
Right.
And then it also has presented a lot of challenges because we're trying to scale quality and training and the culture and the values of the company across all those locations. But I think the challenge is that if one of the restaurants struggles, then the whole company struggles.
Right.
If one of the restaurants doing well, it's not enough to carry all 3 restaurants, right?
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, we've been very fortunate to grow. I'm not going to deny that. We've been very, very fortunate to grow, but it has been a result of all the hard work that we put in the early days in Capitol Hill to really save a lot of money, to really try to grow the business as much as we could to be able to scale.
So how is Ballard doing these days? Because I noticed on Instagram you posted about some really troubling construction happening right next to it.
I mean, let's take a step back. I think 2024 was just a terrible year for restaurants in general, which are like us. So we saw a 50% decline in our delivery sales in 2024 because of the pay up campaign, paying more money to the drivers, which was interpreted wrongly by the third-party delivery companies. And they kind of took advantage of that. So that took a 50% hit on our revenue of delivery, and delivery is a big part of our business. It's about 30 to 40% of our business. And so that means automatically we took a 15% cut on our revenue across the company. So in general, that's where we started 2025. And then starting in 2025 with all the tariff, the elections, the tariff, all this kind of stuff, plus just the economic situation, we've seen another further 5 to 10% reduction in our revenue across locations because of everything that's going on. Right. Ballard in particular has been a little bit rough. We've got a massive construction going on next to us, and we've just seen a lot of people just don't want to come in. It's not nice to be sitting next to a construction zone where you have to battle the person who's got the stop sign in front of you, and you can't cross the road, and there's dust and everything like that. So our lunch business has definitely taken a huge hit. And then it's also, I think, with Amazon going back to work, I think a lot of people have gone to South Lake Union, so we're missing that crowd as well who were working from home. So it's a combination of those two things that Ballard's now down another 7 to 10% this year.
Yikes.
Fun times.
Yeah. I'm trying to picture where the construction is. Is it on the empty lot on the corner?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there used to be a building there when we opened in 2022, but then they demolished that. And then,
Is that cool mural going to get covered
It's
up?
hidden already.
Oh, man.
Yeah, hidden already. Jeez.
What a shame.
Such a shame.
Yeah, I don't care about you guys. I care about the mural. No,
it's funny because it was so sweet because there was a customer who posted about that, also commented saying that, I love the mural. I can't wait to see it one last time before it gets covered up. But that mural was a big part of
it's
our
part of the character, right? You see it and then you think of Spice Waala, and it's just part of the space that you're in. Yeah,
exactly.
And
so
it'll
we'll
be
have to figure out where to put it inside the restaurant instead.
Yeah.
So
you could repaint it. That's true. You could hire a muralist to just recreate it. Oh, that's cute. And hopefully on a canvas where you can take it down if you have to move.
Yeah, that's the way.
Lesson learned. Mural lessons with Uttam Mukherjee. I also like fried chicken metrics. With
Uttam. Yeah.
All right, shall we move on? Do you have more questions?
Sure. Well, I wonder if there might just be a little bit more to talk about just in terms of metrics. Like if you have any advice for small business owners in tackling the idea of creating and tracking your metrics. I know some business owners who are kind of I wish I was more organized with numbers and spreadsheets and whatnot, but that's just not my passion. My passion is doing the food, right?
I don't know how you can run a business without being into the data on a day-to-day basis. I mean, so it's my background, right? So I was doing business analysis for $3 billion business every single day. And that's kind of what I used to do. But every Sunday night or Monday morning, I look at the previous week's data. I look at whether we actually made money or not based on a template that I have that has all of the fixed costs in it, the variable costs in it, personnel, et cetera, et cetera. And if we didn't make money, which is a lot of the weeks nowadays, then we change something, right? We either do a special, which is why our specials are so erratic sometimes. They're like, oh, hey, tomorrow we're doing this because we need customers come back. Or we'll do some promotion. We'll do a marketing promo, or we'll reach out to an influencer who we know can kind of come in and drive the business or something like that. But we look at top line revenue. We look at bottom line profitability. We look at revenue essentially per employee. And then we also always keep a tab on our reviews, because whether we like it or not, the reviews result in more business or less business, depending on whether you're 4.5 or plus or below 4.5, right? So we look at all of that on a weekly basis. Aakanksha and I talk about it, whether it's late at night or first thing in the morning before she goes to her other work. But we make sure we have a conversation about it just to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
What are your reviews like lately? How you doing? How you doing out there on the internet?
Columbus City's taken a little bit of a hit for sure.
Yeah.
But honestly, we've been in business for 7 years, and Capitol Hill's still strong, 4.5 star. Ballard's 4.7.
I'm sure you still get glowing reviews all the time.
We do get a lot of good reviews. Yeah. I was telling you both earlier that the negative ones really cut deep. Yeah. More so because we can't have a conversation with that person.
Right. It's a ghost who wrote it. 100%. You don't know.
Yeah. Even if we reach out and we're like, hey, whatever it takes, I'll do it right tomorrow. They just disappear, right?
Yeah, right. They're like, no, I don't want to engage with you. I want to write it secretly. Yeah.
But if anyone's listening, hey, we're happy to make it right? Yeah. We don't want you to have a bad experience. That's not the point of a restaurant. So if you want to come back in, we'll comp you your meal. If you had a bad experience, please, just have a good time.
Do you think review ghosts will hear that and be like,
No.
I'm going to come back because
They will
Tom
not.
said he wants to make it right? No.
I just spoke to the blank space.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not calling you stupid for doing that. I'm like, no, like that's a sincere request. And I'm wondering like, what would make a review ghost, which I've just coined right now, someone who leaves a nasty review, but has no intention of like trying to correct it or work together. What would make them go back?
I have this really funny story where when we first opened, September of 2019, Bethany wrote an article about us in the Seattle Times, and the next day we were slammed, right? And so it was a small team, it was like 3 of us or something like that, and we just weren't ready for it. We didn't know how to run a restaurant. And so we shut down. We were like, we need to catch up on prep. And we were like, shit, should we really shut down or should we just do something special and then like sell out of that? So we're like, great, let's do a special. We did khichdi, which is lentils and rice porridge essentially. And we sold out in like half an hour.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And it was all because of the article and everything like that. So we shut the doors and we continued doing our prep. We thought people would understand, right?
Yeah.
One person wrote us a review on Yelp saying 1-star review. They're never open. Shady business. Who knows what's going on inside? So because it was early days, like we had maybe 5-10 reviews.
Yeah.
I like looked at the pictures, right? I used to like know everyone's names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So next week I saw this guy in the restaurant. I was like,
I know
looked at
what
us.
you did.
Oh yeah, no. I was taking the order and I saw him sit down. I was like, wait, didn't you write us the 1-star review? He's like, yeah. And he was with his wife. And he just never said anything after. I was like, you're here and I see you every week now.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You've never updated
Is that
your
his
review.
apology? Like, take your review down, buddy, or add to it and be like, I was wrong.
That's so
Sometimes you will
weird.
see someone amending their reviews, but like, yeah, that guy should have
Very,
done
very
that.
rare though. Yeah.
Wow. So he wanted to punch you in the face, but then be like, we're best friends. Like, I love your work.
It's called tough love, I guess.
I guess. Wow.
Well, if there's anything I've learned from just looking at Yelp and Google reviews over the years, it's that people get really bent out of shape if a place isn't open when they expect it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is maybe one of the craziest sort of like
A
disparities.
private business wasn't open when I felt like going to it.
To be fair, unnamed place was out of my way on Friday. And I was like, oh, shoot, I definitely want to go there right now for lunch. And I drove 15 minutes out of my way to go grab lunch. And on Google, it said it was open, showed up, closed.
Yeah.
And no sign, nothing. And I was like, what's going on? And they've been in the news a lot recently, like very popular, etc. So I was like, at least just some sign saying we're closed right now because of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's more than enough for me, right? Like, don't give me any notice. You don't have a social media presence. That's perfectly fine. But there was no sign, nothing. I was like, this is...
Yeah.
So I can see it.
So
But
did you go on Yelp and write a tirade?
I did not. Maybe I should. No, I'm just joking.
You should give them a 1-star review, then go there religiously afterwards. Pay it forward, Uttam.
My wife and I have made a pact that we will never write negative reviews online on Seattle restaurants.
Yeah,
It
that's
just
fair.
like, yeah. We know the feeling.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you and I chat. We just don't write them at all because you could. I mean, I guess if you have a platform and you want to use that spotlight to lift someone up, that's a different argument because you can write negative and positive reviews all day long on Google or Yelp or something.
Yeah.
A different principle there.
Yeah.
For us, it's opportunity cost, right?
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, why spend this time doing this thing
When you can
Exactly.
do something for the good. Yeah, for sure.
Shall we?
Yeah. Shall we get to news? But first,
I saw your eyebrows go up, so I knew what you were about to say. Yeah, but first, I went to the Rockridge Orchard, Cidery, and Country Market. It's at the north city limits of Enumclaw in a community that used to be called Crane, Krain, like a brain. And I realized later it had a Ukrainian population.
Oh.
And I have to guess that the word crane is from the word
yeah.
Ukraine, possibly.
There used to be an apostrophe before it. And I shed.
A bunch of cranes over there. Crane wives. There is still a restaurant called like the Ukrainian or something like that. And Steven's like, they just have bacon and eggs. Like they don't serve Ukrainian food. It's just the family who owned the house did a nod to themselves. So I went to the Rockridge Country Market. It's like a complex. We went and looked at the little orchard, and then there's a tap room, and we tried the cider, which was lovely. And we met Lucy the cat, and we bought some veggie starts. I got some celery and some romaine, and then I picked some home preserves They probably had 100 different things. They had chow chow pickles. They had candied green tomatoes.
Dang.
I got the candied jalapenos,
Oh, yes.
which I don't understand how they could be candied. I'm suspecting it's just a sweet pickle, like
Yeah,
bread and butter
sure.
pickle.
Yeah.
I think candied is misused here,
Yeah.
but I'm very curious.
It's very evocative, if nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, they have a
Candy.
lot of sweet pickles in India.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that?
How do I know that? Achar
You don't know
in
that.
general is very interesting. It's
Yeah.
like a whole like universe of pickles.
I am afraid I'm going to spill this on myself. But also, I wanted to talk about this jelly that I got. This is mayhaw jelly. It is the fruit of the hawthorn tree. Hawthorns are in the rose family. I expect it to be appley, but maybe more like a, vitamin C, citric acid, sort of like Jamaica sort of flavor.
Yeah. I'm curious.
I'm curious about
Nice
this. I got a little focaccia next door from the Cafe Hitchcock stand. And then I also got these weird candies, which I don't know if they make them at the farm stand. It says the sweetest things. It looks like a mimeographed label on the back. I suspect they're made in-house. These are Chico Puffs, freeze-dried candy. They kind of look like meringue, and they have toasted coconut and dry roasted peanuts. And then like everything else has been smudged off by somebody's thumb. I originally thought Chico Puffs, like Chico, California, like
Yeah.
UC Davis.
Yeah.
It was like, is there, an alumnus who made this? And then I realized I think it's like a Chica stick spelled incorrectly. Like the old
Oh,
candy
yes,
from the
yes.
40s. It's like the inside of a Butterfinger with no chocolate. That is my suspicion with the Chico Puffs.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
I know.
like
How
the
are we going
sound
to
of
find
that.
out?
All right.
That seems like the easiest to open.
I'm going to open these just to prepare that, but
Do you mind if I smell these?
please do.
Ooh.
We've got a whole spread here.
Candied.
The whole world of Indian pickles is so interesting to me because the flavors are so different. What are some of the spices that go into an Indian pickle?
So it actually depends on the pickle you're making. But like we've made a mango pickle in the restaurant, a mango achar, and there's a ton of different spices in there. Fenugreek, mustard seeds, cumin seeds. There's a whole array of them. There's probably like 30 ingredients in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's so much work though. I stopped doing it after the first couple of times I did it just because my hand would hurt from like chopping and cutting raw mango and all the ginger and garlic and everything like that. It was just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I bet.
But I recently made a lemon pickle at home also, lemon achar at home also, and that was also very delicious.
Lemon achar.
This is sort of orangey red, by the way. This mayhaw fruit.
Oh, yeah. Wow. It's really sticky.
It's like a
It kind of
proper
looks
jam.
like marmalade a little bit.
Yeah.
It does.
Reddish marmalade. All right, I'm going in.
All right.
It just tastes like neutral fruit. Neutral fruit hotel.
Neutral grain fruit. Like it's
Yeah.
the baseline for.
It could be apple. It could be cranberry.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Let your imagination guide you to
If
the
somebody
flavor.
handed you this, what flavor would you think it was?
Honestly, honey.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of honey flavor.
Yeah,
It's honey jam.
That is sort of
I
the.
wonder if honey's the thickener. Is it?
Maybe. I taste like an appley flavor for sure. A
Yeah,
hawthorn fruit.
It's
I don't
sort of-
not like it. It'd be good on a
Yeah.
PB&J or something.
Yeah,
Maybe good on ice cream.
yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't really have a distinct flavor. It just kind of tastes
It could be really good in granola also.
fruity and pectin-y. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad. I probably won't eat it all. But
No.
I was very, very curious about
It's
it.
way too sweet for me.
Yeah, me too.
It is a little sweet.
Okay.
It's the kind of thing. It's the kind of thing you can only describe as smooth.
It's a smooth flavor. And then
The candied jalapenos.
yeah, let's try the. Are they sweet?
That's nice.
Is it good?
It's not overly sweet, but it's got a nice sweetness to it. And then the heat kicks in. It's really nice. That would do so well on a banh mi.
I'm excited. I'm just gonna put my mouth on this because I'm a goblin.
Right?
Oh yeah, it's like bread and butter pickle, but spicy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, no,
That's
I like
good.
that a lot.
Yeah.
That'd be great on just like a rice bowl with curry. Like
Seriously.
you put that on all kinds of things.
I mean, I love
That is good.
jalapeno, and that's
Those are great.
That is really good.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
What is this?
Mayhaw is like a
Yeah.
C plus, B minus.
Mayhaw's. Yeah, Mayhaw to me is a B.
It's a B. It's nice.
Yeah, candied jalapenos. That's an A plus.
Really?
Solid A
Your
plus.
first A plus.
First A
That is
plus.
strong.
I'm pretty biased towards jalapeno. Jalapeno is like my
They're
favorite.
very spicy jalapenos. Sometimes
They
they
are,
ain't
yeah.
shit, and sometimes they're hot. Yeah, those are good. It is a sweet pickle. It's a little bit sweet, but like okay.
Yeah.
You made a weird face.
No, it's nice. The candy's nice.
Is it good?
Yeah. Again,
Too spicy.
a little bit sweet for me, but I don't like overly sweet things. So,
Yeah.
but it's nice.
It is like a
crunch
Chico stick, kind of. I don't know if that's what they're getting at with Chico Puffs.
This has got peanut butter plus confectioner sugar flavor.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
bad.
eat a lot of candy, but
Right.
yeah, that's nice. If it were in a like little golden tray, I would take one.
That would be so good as like a crumble on top of something, like ice cream
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. Like it would be
Yeah.
the sugar factor on something.
Yeah. If it were the sweetest part of a multi-flavor element thing.
I like these.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
could
do
eat some of
something
those.
with it. I want to
Yeah.
make something out of them for sure.
Yeah.
This is like the kind of candy that a very sweet elderly relative would have at their house. And I think I'm reacting positively to it because of that. Yeah.
But I also feel like it's meringue-like, right?
Yeah, it's got
And I feel
meringue
like,
qualities.
Yeah, I feel like it probably takes a lot of work to do. Like this is
Yeah.
actually pretty
Labor intensive.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like that. I don't know if I'm right or wrong.
I like them. Yeah, they have a inside of the Butterfinger quality too.
Yeah. When I think about it, I don't think there's a candy that's easy to make. If it, anything that's technically candy, like truly candy,
Yeah.
that's always labor
Letter
intensive.
grade for the Chico Puffs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a B plus.
Yeah, I like B plus.
Yeah.
They are very, very sweet,
They are sweet.
and they're kind of sticking in my adult
Yeah.
teeth. Like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
I feel like they're somehow all over my face. I don't know.
no, your face looks good.
No.
Yeah.
You look as gorgeous as always.
All right, Rockridge Country Market.
Yeah.
in Crane, Washington.
God damn.
Everybody
If you're passing by Crane,
passing through Crane.
this is an interesting tasting for us because usually we're doing more like industrial snacks.
Yeah.
So,
Right, from Thailand or something. Well, now I'm like, should I just only do local snacks?
I mean, maybe.
Although if they're
I-
bad, then we're trashing
I
local
think,
business.
I think that was actually the impetus for making
Yeah.
them more industrial. We kind of wanted that segment to be sort of like a
Yeah.
loosey,
Yeah.
kind of like let's be silly with our guest kind of
Yeah.
moment. And it's harder to speak freely if you dislike something. If it's
That's
like,
true.
So is alcohol
Aforementioned.
an optionary
yeah,
item in this this section?
yeah, we've done that
Yeah.
before.
We've done alcohol, yeah. I was bringing wine. Oh, are you saying where's the alcohol? Is that the question?
I'm just saying. Maybe I'm not good enough for alcohol.
I didn't
That's
bring
okay.
any this week. I forgot. Good point. I think I had a couple little ciders that I got
That would be great.
at Bar Miriam at the little bottle store next door, but I drank them.
Aw.
I didn't share them with you guys.
That's
We're
what
not,
you
we're
do.
not special enough, I guess.
Yeah, I owe you. Okay.
Well, our previous guests are probably watching this and going, "What the fuck?" we had to eat like what were those like crazy ones from the beginning that we all hated? I can't remember.
I don't remember. We had those purple Pringles the other day where you were like, well, that's a bridge to nothing. And I still have them in my kitchen and I ate a couple. I didn't have it. I had to go somewhere and I had to grab a breakfast. So I grabbed like 6 purple potato Korean Pringles. And I was like, these are kind of good. And then Mark's voice was echoing in my skull. Well, that's a bridge to nothing.
I do love how she said she had to grab a breakfast.
Yeah, that was my
Grab the
breakfast.
Pringles.
6 purple Pringles. I had to run to get a train, and I was like, I have to eat something. So, like, you know, with Pringles,
Yeah.
they're not even real Pringles. Like,
You have to get a stack.
got it. I have something. Yeah,
100%.
And
100%.
coffee.
I can't eat one of those ever. It has to be like a full stack in
It
your
has
mouth.
to be.
Yeah.
That was such a great gobbling noise you made a second ago. Fully artist quality. All right, shall we get to the news?
What do you think, Uttam? Should we get to the news?
Yes,
Should we get on with it?
Yes.
I dare you to get to the news.
All right.
Hang on, I got to open this very disappointing lemon Italian ice Waterloo that just
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of tastes like Lysol.
Wait, does that say Guy Fieri's Flavor Town on it?
Yeah, it does.
It does?
Look.
What?
There's
Yeah.
a tie-in on this to Guy Fieri's.
Is that a trademark infringement? Or?
It just says.
That's why it doesn't
oh my
taste
gosh,
like anything.
bubbling over. You should
Drink
sip
it.
from this. Okay.
Drink it.
I'll try it.
Tell me what you think. Is it Italian?
Again, do you notice how Meg said it was taste like Lysol?
Yeah, it just doesn't
How do you
taste.
know that?
It just kind of tastes like.
How do you know that?
It tastes like the smell of Lysol.
Yeah.
I'd rather drink Lysol.
I'd rather drink Lysol. Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's a little lemon Italian ice. I mean, what is an Italian ice but a slushy
Yeah.
type of lemon
Melted
flavored
ice.
thing? So
It's sugar.
it's the texture that makes the Italian ice
Yeah.
what it is. It's sort of
Yeah.
like those crunchy mochi we have, where it's like,
Yeah.
how does it make sense to call this mochi
Yeah.
in the same
Yeah.
way?
Yeah.
Do you want to try the Lysol water?
I am okay. I think I'll pass.
All right.
It's
I'm still
it's
waiting for
fine.
the
It's
alcohol
just neutral.
instead.
Yeah.
I done you wrong.
Well, let's distill this then.
You want to go out for a drink later? They've got alcohol behind the bar at Oyster Cellar. Maybe we could just break in.
Oh my God.
They got stuff back there.
And this is the last time you recorded.
But seriously,
We're homeless now.
how to ruin a sweet situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
News.
The Wayland Mill is now open
Finally.
in North Lake. Yes.
Good.
We've both been stalking this place like crazy, haven't
for
we?
sure.
I've been waiting for it to be open forever. So that is Yasuko Saito's new spot. So he was from London Plain, also St.
Really
Bread
nice person.
and Tivoli.
Yeah.
Another thing that has me very excited about this spot is that Ellery Collins is the pastry chef there.
I didn't know that. Oh, shit.
Oh, did you not know that?
Oh, shit. Now it's on.
Yeah,
No, I didn't,
right?
I didn't
Right?
even pick up on that.
So that is an incredibly killer team up. And so I just can't wait to see the kinds of things they're
Nice.
going to do there. I think Ellery is a genius of laminated pastry. And another pastry, the biscuits that were coming out of layers when Ellery was heading up their kitchen over in Green Lake were incredible. That's going to be great.
So this is in North Lake, kind of by Ivor's Salmon House,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
right
like
next to
the
it.
Duwamish cedar longhouse looking Ivor's.
Yeah.
And Isis Chapman, when I asked her if they were open or not, she said, yes, we soft opened last Thursday. Just doing pastries and coffee for the first little bit, but we're testing kitchen items and should be rolling with breakfast shortly. Lunch the week after and dinner soon as well.
Nice.
So they're open Wednesday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to early afternoon until they sell out.
Yeah.
So, and they're aiming to expand hours as well. So they're kind of quasi soft open,
Yeah.
medium open.
Yeah. It's so funny. We both hit up Isis separately about
Yeah,
that.
I'm like, is it open? What are you doing? Like she's like, come on in. I'm like, I can do that? Really?
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny because their hours are 8 to 3, but I think they've been selling out before 3, so it's
course.
kind of like
Good, as they
8 till
should.
early.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure.
It's probably similar to St. Bread, right? In terms of like how fast they're going to sell out.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Thai Siam's bid to buy their building was
They got it.
successful.
I didn't see that.
Did you not see that? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm learning the news right now, you guys. I should read the doc.
Yeah, so right. So yeah, they posted on their Facebook, good news, the landlord has accepted the offer under the right of first refusal.
Yeah.
We
Amazing.
look forward to welcoming you back soon as we plan to reopen on Wednesday, May 14th.
Oh, that's a beautiful story.
I thought I saw somewhere that the landlord reduced the price tremendously for them.
That's
which
what I saw in the
I've
Seattle
never
Times.
heard of that in Seattle.
I know. It was like
Right?
2 point something million and they knocked it down to 1.5.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Maybe they were like, then I don't have to fix anything. I don't have to list it. I don't have to, not get
mean, that's-
paid when these people move out and then it's on the market for 6 months.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that.
sure.
Like when you
Absolutely.
have you have your tenant who's
Yeah.
used to the space, you're
Yeah.
not going to complain about
Yeah.
anything.
The number of empty storefronts these days.
For sure.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so frustrating.
That's a beautiful story. My aunt will be very happy. My aunt lives in the neighborhood and she
nice.
was very sad that they were closing. That's her favorite spot. Salt Harvest opens on the 22nd of May. That is in Pioneer Square. It's in the Populous Hotel, which is the carbon positive hotel chain that has the rooftop forest garden where you can go up and get drunk in the rooftop garden.
Haven't
There's
been.
only
I'll
a
have to do
couple of
that.
those in Seattle because it
That's
rains so
true.
fucking much. The people are like, why would I build this? So that's exciting. It's in the old Westland building. Marcus Ilario was chatting about the Westland building
Okay.
when he was rep in Pioneer Square.
P.S. I didn't know Marcus still remembered us. It was
Oh,
kinda
yeah.
nice to
Really?
hear- Yeah.
Were you flattered?
I was very flattered. Yeah.
Are you friends? Do you know do you know each other?
We've spoken because we did the Burger Month with Little Woodies years ago.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
like in
Okay.
2020,
Right.
2021
That's
maybe.
right.
And I've always just thought he's the best. Like
He's the
just
best.
Like what he's done, how he does it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, right? It's like
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
You guys should pair up. You've got you're
yeah.
minded.
If
yeah.
only we knew people that could introduce us again. I don't know.
Yeah, come on down. What are you doing later? I owe you a drink. They got him. Although I think Marcus is out of town. Yeah,
Is he? Yeah, I think so.
he's
Actually,
been posting vacation-looking
Yeah,
pictures
yeah.
of his family.
Nice.
Oh, let's swing by Dark
Absolutely,
Alina.
100%.
Yeah.
Like we would love to introduce you to
Yeah.
Marcus. You'd be a great team.
Oh, we have this item from Tan Vinh from the Seattle Times
Yeah.
reporting that 2 local breweries took gold in the World Beer Competition.
The
awesome.
Global World Beer
Yeah,
Competition,
so-
which is a big deal for beer people who are not
Huge.
me.
So
Imagine if you were a beer person, you'd be really excited.
Exactly.
And I think that's really about time. Seattle's an incredible beer town.
For sure.
When they are diversifying outside
Yeah.
of IPAs.
Yeah.
And so notably,
We didn't win the IPA.
the two beers that won were not IPAs. So we
Yeah.
got Cloudburst Brewing of Seattle and Resonate Brewing of Bellevue.
The Cloudburst beer was called Peaked in High School in the strong red ale category. not an IPA.
Love
That's
that
a great name.
And then Cloudburst also got second place for an American-style amber lager for its ebb and flow. And meanwhile, Bothel's Resonate Brewing struck gold with their Lithium beer, that's the name of the beer, in the German-style alt beer category.
Oh.
Also not an IPA.
Love it.
And then Bellevue Brewing Company also got a silver medal, so they didn't take gold. And they, for their Bellevue 1882 lager in the American-style Pilsner category. I'm always bitching and moaning about how Seattle has 125 breweries or something
Is it really that
by
many?
itself. And this was actually for all of Washington State. And no one is really writing about it aside from blogs. No one in the mainstream media is doing a lot of food writing about beer specifically. Not only do I feel like we need a mainstream publication covering beer regularly, I feel like every single one of them should have a beer writer. So it's sort of validating to see that
I didn't realize there's that many breweries.
there's a lot.
Yeah,
insane.
That's what
You don't think of that, I guess.
the guy who owns fast fashion on Lower Queen Anne told me the other day. So just in the city alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I would really love to see the local beer scene sort of get back to some more traditional German style brewing. So to hear a German style alt beer win is very encouraging to me.
Yeah.
I complain about IPAs a lot, and it's a valid style. It feels a lot like a first person shooter in video games, or like the fried chicken sandwich of food, where it's just a thing that's just been hit so much and so much. And I just want to see more diversification. That's really where it comes down to for me. And I think I've said before, I just feel like it blows out my palate if I drink too much IPA.
Yeah, 100%. It's also very heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy on your palate, heavy on your everything, right? So I agree with that.
All right. Well, Uttam, you have some very interesting thoughts about the state of Indian food in the United States, and we would love to hear some of them. Where do you think things are at, both on a national level and I guess maybe more relevantly locally?
It's kind of interesting because I think for the number of Indian origin people in the US and in Seattle, I feel like our food is lagging so far behind. I think if you look at the evolution of Chinese food, Korean food, Japanese food, any of the other Asian country food, they've gone through a huge evolution where now you can have very specific type of items as a whole restaurant, and they do really, really well. And I don't know if Indian food is there yet.
Yeah.
When you go to India, there's so many different cuisines. There's so many different types of food. Every particular region, every particular city has a different style. And that just doesn't present itself over here. Kathakali was nominated in the James Beard Award last year, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't really big news here. Why? That's pretty interesting that a South Indian restaurant is making news and no one really talks about it, right? So I just feel like we're lagging behind. I think the Indian population is big enough to warrant a lot of different types of Indian food, and we just don't have it. You see the same, butter chicken, naan, rice everywhere. Whereas I think on the East Coast, also in New York, there's been that the restaurant group, the Unapologetic group, which has Adda and Dhamaka and Sema, which have been in the limelight, Michelin star, James Beard Awards, etc. And then you've got some in North Carolina through the Chai Pani group. But apart from that, there's not much going on in the US, which I think is just fascinating.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know if it is something just that Indian foods, the broader population of Americans are not ready for Indian food and the diversity of flavors, but there's also not a lot of education, right? So even in Seattle, I still see naan bread written on so many different menus, right? I see chai tea lattes on every single coffee shop, right?
People don't know.
People don't know. I see a tikka masala tonkatsu. What do people know what a tikka is?
No.
So a tikka is a small piece of meat.
Okay.
That doesn't go with masala tonkatsu, right?
No.
Why would you do that?
They don't know. They absolutely don't know what that word means.
Chaat is not a burger. Chaat's not what a potato means, right? So I think there's just a lack of information, and the more we are doing to encourage that kind of nonsense is not going to help the Indian cuisine at all, right? It's not going to grow. We get so many people in our restaurant coming in all the time saying, "Where's your naan?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, could we maybe run down some of those things you just mentioned and correct them?
Yeah, please.
So number one, naan bread.
Yeah, it just say naan.
Yeah.
It's a type of bread.
Yeah, it's like ATM machine, right?
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you say naan bread.
100%, right? I believe banh mi sandwiches also same thing, right? You just don't do that. Same thing. Just say naan.
Yeah.
You want naan? Great. What is roti? It's another type of bread.
Yeah, right.
There's so many. The Indian cuisine has got so many different types of breads.
Yeah. Next one was
Chai. Chai means tea.
Yeah.
You don't need to say TT.
I feel like of these, people mostly know that one, or like more people know that chai means tea?
Maybe. I don't know. I see chai tea a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Every single coffee shop still has it, right? There's a few people I think who just say chai now, but even chai latte doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah.
Because we always brew chai with milk.
Right.
Like that's the only way to do it. Otherwise, you're just drinking black tea.
Right.
You're not drinking chai. So that's the other one.
Tikka.
Yeah, I mean,
And chaat
firstly,
burger.
chicken tikka masala is not from India. So
It's from England, yeah.
exactly.
It's from the UK.
And so the version that we grew up with was butter chicken.
Yeah.
Someone decided to make it a little bit spicier and call it
Yeah.
chicken tikka masala. But the word, so chicken and tikka should stick together, and that's only if you smell certain
Right.
small pieces of chicken.
Chicken
and
nuggets.
then masala just means spices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you have to qualify what are those spices, like
Right.
what are you doing with it? Like usually a lot of actually Indian dishes are either described or named after the utensil that is used or the specific ingredient that's used, right? So
Okay.
like if you're not putting one of those two items in there to describe what you're doing, you're really just probably throwing some garam masala and calling it Indian.
Yeah, right.
Which is not true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Fair and legit. Trin talked about this a little bit
Yes.
to your previous point that people aren't adventurous about all of the different kinds of Vietnamese cuisine and home cuisine, like stuff they
Yeah.
would eat at home that is not
Yeah.
pho and banh mi and vermicelli bowls, and that people aren't adventurous to find out more. And especially specifically what she's doing at Raimi with her brother Ty, where they've got all their ideas, right? They're like extrapolating on their concepts, and she wants people to be curious and open-minded.
yeah.
And having various degrees of success in
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah.
I do think people need to learn more about Indian cuisine by being more open to it and then therefore exploring. And the misnomer that all Indian food has to be heavy
Right.
or like kill your palate spicy is
Yeah.
absolutely wrong.
Right.
Right. And so from that standpoint, I think if you just go in without those two biases, I think you could have a lot more fun with Indian food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a giant country.
I was just going to
you
say, it's a big
know, and-
place with
yeah.
lots of
Huge.
different regions
Yeah.
and languages, but
Yeah.
there's over 100 languages and
Yeah.
different cultures in
Like
every
even
spot.
for Aakanksha and myself, the food that we serve and eat in Calcutta versus Delhi is just tremendously different, right? Because Calcutta is more of it's a town which is close to the water, a lot more fish, a lot more rice.
Yeah.
So like just that cuisine, a lot more mustard, a lot of poppy seeds. That cuisine is very different than what you get in Delhi, which is heavily influenced by the Uzbekistanis and those kind of things, the locals that came
And there's
in.
Muslim cuisine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, different influences. It's like Pacific Northwest cuisine versus Southern
Yeah.
barbecue or
Yeah.
something.
Exactly.
Same country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It's just a different
Very,
spot.
very different. Yeah.
Cajun food versus barbecue.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many differences
New
across.
England food or Midwestern pizza
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like pizza. It's like how, there's different pizzas in America.
Yeah.
India's just like,
Yeah. I said this with Trin, but it's so interesting to me that at one point people were adventurous enough to try
Right.
the cuisine in the first place, and then they
Yeah.
stopped being adventurous with it. They started
Yeah.
to kind
Right.
of, their expectations ossified or something.
We're still stuck in General Tso's chicken for
Yeah.
Indian cuisine.
Yeah,
right.
That's where we are. Right. And like, so we need something to break through where you're like, oh, do you want to go get dim sum today? Do you want to go get like this byang noodles? Like, do you
Yeah.
like that? That's
Thali.
where we,
Yeah.
Thali will be your dim sum. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. But like, we need to get to that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just taking a very long time, and there's a lot of frustration along the way, I think.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm curious about the culture of eating out in Indian American communities. Is that something that happens a lot, or do people prefer to cook at home most of the time? Or is it just kind of hard to say because no
It's
one's a
hard to-
monolith?
It's hard to say because I think if there was a lot more diversity in the Indian restaurant options in Seattle, we probably would eat out more. But because there aren't, I think we're not eating out as much, and therefore we're cooking at home a lot. So I mean, Aakanksha and I love to cook, right? Obviously. So we eat at home a lot. We don't cook as much Indian food because we like to experiment with a lot of different cuisines and stuff like that. But I think if you had a dosa place in Seattle, we would be there probably once a week. But Kathakali, great dosas. Great dosas, right? And I think if you ask South Indians, they probably would agree. I'm not from South India, so I don't know what a great dosa is versus but in my opinion, what a great dosa is. I think Kathakali is great. And like, I wish there was more of those kind of options in Seattle. Like we've done dosas in our restaurant as specials because we miss it. We crave it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even from South India, but we used to have that all the time in India. So that, like, I think just like Indo-Chinese cuisine.
Yeah.
If you're not exposed to that, like that is a huge cuisine.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
so good.
after Indian food in India, Indo-Chinese cuisine is probably the second most consumed cuisine and very, very close probably to Indian food.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing I miss the most about home,
Okay.
you know, and I just feel like that is,
There's none of it here.
there might be one or two restaurants, but like
Yeah.
it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I don't know what it is, but it's missing a lot of ingredients.
Well, it's
it
probably
feels like.
dumbed down for people who've never tried it before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. And like the types of things that we get here are just very different, I think,
Yeah.
to cook with. So
Is sourcing ingredients a problem or difficult with certain spices, certain...
we have a great wholesaler who's part of the Apna Bazaar grocery chain group, and we don't have a problem getting what we need, but we are stocking up. So we don't have a problem because we're usually ordering out like 2 to 3 weeks at least.
Sure.
But I think if you were trying to get stuff just in moment, I think you'd have a problem getting the right ingredients. You also don't get consistency in the brand that you want to use, so the flavor is going to change every week. So yeah, there could be a little bit of that, but I also feel like the types of things that we used to love growing up in India, it's changed, right? Like you move across continents and like the cooks have changed, or your palate has suddenly changed because you're exposed to different cuisines here apart from Indian cuisine, so you
Right.
expect different things also.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it does tie into the thing you're always saying, which is when you leave a place, you can't always expect to find the thing that you had when you left. But also, you would still think that you could get
Something close enough.
good
Yeah.
dosas or good Indo-Chinese food. If you're listening at home
Yeah.
or on the train, as I will be later, and you know of good doses or authentic doses,
Yeah.
we should say,
Yeah.
and or Indo-Chinese food, like, please comment. We want to
Please.
know about it. I
Yeah.
want to eat that.
Yeah.
I know there are some Indo-Chinese dishes at India Nepali Kitchen.
Yeah, there are.
And those I thought were
I don't know if they're good. I
But
haven't
yeah,
tried.
I'm me. I don't have the reference point.
You're
for,
just, you're just
yeah.
you. How could you know?
Yeah, I'm just,
How could we know? How could you expect anything of us?
I feel like I want to shout out Shama Joshi, who used to own Roll OK Please.
Okay. Yeah.
She's the first person I was aware of really like kind of raising
Yeah.
some awareness of
Yeah.
this kind of
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
And that truck, I think, operated from like 2014, 2015 up until about the pandemic.
It was
Just
definitely there
before it.
till 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember going to it at maybe Chuck's
Okay.
in Greenwood,
Yeah.
and I think I tasted it over there.
Uh-huh.
Did
Yeah.
she have the Bombay sandwich? Do you know what I'm
No.
talking
No,
about?
I don't think so.
No,
One of the trucks did, and I
Yeah.
never managed
Okay.
to nail them down and try it.
Yeah, it was kathi rolls.
Yeah.
Okay.
And fantastic. I mean, that was the first Indian food I had ever had that had black salt in it.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
And so
Okay.
that was kind of like
Yeah.
part of the flavor element that
Yeah.
kind of
It was
expanded
different.
my
Yeah.
conception of
Yeah.
what flavors will be in Indian food. Anyway,
God,
Indian,
there's so
Indian
much.
cuisine is very,
Okay.
very diverse.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? Like if you look at the ingredients that we have in any of our items, which is, you know, they're cheap, affordable, whatever value, whatever you want to call it, there's 20, 30 ingredients in each one, right?
I
There's
believe it, yeah.
there's tangy, there's sweet, there's salty, there's spicy, there's everything,
Yeah.
right? And you just don't get that in a lot of cuisines.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's why it's harder to find, because it's
Yeah.
just labor intensive and import intensive.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just realizing there's so much I don't know about Indian cuisine.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
note to self.
We're always learning.
And I mean, we're gonna have to do some research on
Yeah.
where to get it, if anywhere, you know,
Yeah.
and like what we can
Yeah.
get. Like we'll have to make a spreadsheet or something.
If you find an option, I'll be there with you to
I
taste
mean,
it.
you're gonna be like, that's some bullshit. We liked it.
I never use those words.
You would never say those words. I noticed you said shoot earlier.
Yeah.
What a polite man.
So, Uttam, another thing we wanted to talk to you about was you wrote a post back in March on
Yeah.
the Spice Waala Instagram page,
Yeah.
and it was some ideas for how the city of Seattle can help small businesses thrive
Yeah.
at a policy level.
Yeah.
And we'd love to talk about some of that
Yeah,
with
please.
you and maybe expand upon that even a little bit.
I mean, I just think that the city of Seattle is not doing itself any favors for small businesses to thrive, right? I think there's just been so many changes in the past 4 or 5 years that have hurt businesses in so many different ways. And some of them, you know, are probably necessary, right? And it's not necessarily to hurt small businesses, for helping everyone, right? So like the minimum wage hike and all those kind of things. But I do think like the things like the pay up, where they wrote the policy in such a weird way that now, you know, all delivery apps have charged like $5 to $10 of city fees or whatever it is, right?
Right.
Like that's how it's been interpreted. Like all those kind of things are just very, very weird. And I feel like there was certain things that we had seen during the pandemic that had been done at a federal level that were very effective to help small businesses.
Yes.
So some of them were based in that, right? So like, for example, the payroll tax credit that we had proposed was something that they had done during the pandemic and the PPP programs and stuff like that. And I felt like, at a time right like now where you see so many small businesses closing because they can't retain the employees also, why wouldn't you do more to help the people retain their jobs? So that was one thing that we had talked about. We also pay for mandatory things like credit card processing fees and all those kind of things. We never see that money. It doesn't come into our bank accounts. Why are we paying taxes on it?
Right.
So it's those kind of things that I felt like were necessary, but there hasn't been any conversation about it, right? Like no one in the city has seen that or cared about it or anything. Not that I expect them to. I'm a nobody, whatever, but still.
That we should expect them to. There are representatives, right? So
yeah.
Have you had any conversations with anyone or tried to?
Well, so I am on the board of the Seattle Restaurant Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
We have met with council members, and I've personally met with at least 3, and we've brought up those topics in our meetings with them amongst various other topics that they've brought about. But there hasn't been any conversation with me personally or with the other SRA board members that I know of that are related to how can we help small businesses. It's frustrating, but at the moment we're in a please don't hurt us mindset versus a please help us mindset. But that's just like based on what's happened the last couple of years. We just don't know what to expect. Like tomorrow there could be another legislation which hurts us and we just are blindsided by it and we just don't know what to do.
Right.
One very scary stat was in 2024, there was more restaurant closures than 2020.
Wow.
And in 2025, so far, we're outpacing 2024.
Jeez.
Right.
So, we constantly talk about, there's closures, but there's also openings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many of those openings, firstly, are actual Seattle based.
Yeah. I always wonder that.
Right.
That's always what I'm curious about.
And then what does that opening mean for the one that closed? Because the one that closed, like their savings, life savings,
Right.
everything's been wiped out. Right, more than likely they've completely wiped out, and then for that to be replaced by another place is okay. Maybe it's good, but think about what happened. Also,
Yeah. Well, it's like the mortality rate is high, but so is the birth rate. Like,
exactly.
who cares?
Yeah. Why are people dying?
Yeah, exactly. But I, as someone who's looking at different storefronts, drives around the city a lot. There are so many storefronts just empty.
Yes.
For sure.
Well, I mean, like we're sitting across the street from Quiznos.
Yes.
That's empty.
Yeah.
Like Quiznos couldn't survive in Seattle,
We have a giant problem with high rent blight in this town.
Yeah.
And that is going to take some policy to fix.
So I will pause there for a second because a lot of people talk about high rent whenever I post anything about the business of restaurants. I agree the rent is high, but it's not the reason that kills us, in my opinion. In at least the way that I look at our businesses, it's not the way that kills us. I do think there's not enough people eating out right now.
Yeah.
And because of that, people can't afford to have the employees on staff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's literally the combination of those two things. If you have more people eating out, spending more money, great. You can keep more people on staff. You can survive as a business. If not, you have to cut something. Mm-hmm. And we always blame the rent, but I don't know if it is that in a lot of cases.
Well, I'm referring specifically to empty spaces that haven't been taken over.
Right.
It's landlords sticking firm to their asking price and not actually pricing it at market price.
Yeah. It's
so
also very, very expensive to start a restaurant, right?
Sure,
So
yeah.
I think the empty storefronts probably is because like there's a lot of requests from the landlord, but it's just very expensive to start a restaurant also.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to me, small businesses are what really make a city a city.
Yeah.
And this idea of we had a lot of openings, so that's okay, that we had a lot of closings is really, that's not sustainable.
That's not sustainable.
That we call that churn in any other industry, right?
Yeah,
So
100%.
Do you know, and I may be talking out of my ass because I've not actually read articles about it, but I know that Governor Ferguson introduced a rent cap, but I think it's for like living spaces and not restaurant spaces. Do we know if that extends at all to commercial spaces?
I don't know if that
And how it
extends to
operates?
commercial spaces. The coverage of it has led me to believe that it's only residential, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be very, very surprised if it did.
I would too. I think we'd know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Front page news, all restaurants are posting about it.
And then someone was like, well, they also raised taxes, but I think they meant property taxes.
Oh,
so they were complaining as a landlord where the rent they could charge was being capped and property taxes. So I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But I should probably read more before I start talking about it on a podcast. Maybe. I don't know.
So.
I'm probably right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel good.
I mean, that's the standard for podcast in general, right?
Yeah,
but
here's
we
some
want
shit I made up right now.
exactly. But we want to have a little higher standard podcast. just a little.
Journalists.
Yeah.
Somebody can fact check me.
Yeah. So just to maybe close out that segment, because I'm curious if this statement is true. You had some dialogue with the city about your ideas, but they weren't really receptive to it or didn't really even respond in any material way.
Let's just say there's been no follow up.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been no follow up, and I don't expect any. Very honestly, I think we're at the mercy of people that don't necessarily understand small businesses or policies or how to run businesses in Seattle or anywhere. So
yeah, that's incredibly disappointing, but
unsurprising.
Unsurprising.
I would say
unsurprising.
I am not surprised. Well, should we talk about what we ate?
Yeah. Thanks. You ate it. What'd you eat?
Thanks, you ate it. Well, Tom, what did you eat?
I tried Cafe Suleiman for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That one comes up a lot here.
It does, yeah.
Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it was 3 of us. We walked out after $100. I was like, what?
Incredible.
Yeah.
In Seattle?
With drinks?
With drinks?
Yeah, with wine. Wow.
I mean, to be fair, like I think some of their smaller plates were big enough that, and they're cheaper.
Yeah.
So, we had a lot of those, but then the hummus with the lamb was very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aakanksha and I were talking about how we're just excited to go back for a date and just kind of like have a few cocktails and chill there for some time. But I thought it was very, very good.
It's a gorgeous space.
Yeah.
It seems like the restaurateur's restaurant, like the industry folks really like that spot.
Yeah.
Do you know Sully? I don't know him. I've met him.
I mean, he was there,
a couple
but
times.
he looked busy.
Everyone loves that spot. It comes up again and again
true.
and chat. Yeah.
And we've been there a few times and loved it ourselves.
Yeah.
So that checks out for sure.
Cool.
And if you haven't been, trust me, go to Ken's Market for their burgers.
I have
I've
not.
heard
I've been
this.
going to Ken's Market my whole life, but I've never been there when it's burger time.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, I am just shocked that they can do it for $6. It's insane.
That's what is said. That's
It's
what
insane.
folks say.
And for a city that smash burgers are like all the rage and like, there's not a lot of true smash burgers and stuff, I don't know how they do it.
They're a supermarket and they buy in tremendous bulk, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is it just the one in Finney?
Yeah, it's just the one
they
thing.
also-
Just the one at Finney. Okay.
They also own Market Time, but I don't know if they do it there. And then the Ken's Market on Queen Anne, I don't think is affiliated with the other Ken's
Oh, is
Market.
it not?
They are affiliated, but it's different owners.
Different owners.
I think they
Got
used
it.
to be the same corporation, but they
When
still
I was
have
a
some
kid, they were.
ties.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's
Yeah.
like Chuck E. Cheese and Showtime Pizza now.
It's exactly like that. It's like Fiore and Cafe Fiore.
yes. So what time frame do they do the smash burgers? It's lunch, right?
It's always when I'm there dropping off our chutneys. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, you could get chutneys.
It's lunchtime, so like I want to say, I don't know, 11 to 2 or something like that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that makes
it
sense.
just so happens that I'm usually there on a Thursday or a Tuesday, and I always got the burger. It takes like a few minutes. They do 10 at a time or 15 at a time, and you have to wait in line and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like I'm always surprised by how many people are there. It's great.
They do.
Amazing.
Everything in the deli is great. The soups are great. The sandwiches are great. I have a lot of childhood memories of eating like that salmon sandwich with all of the herbs and
Nice.
and mayo on it on light rye as a little kid being
Yeah.
like, this is special bread. I never see it anywhere else.
Totally.
Little West Coast child never having rye bread before. Yeah, that sounds great. I should go up there. Also, fun fact, did not know that you can get your chutney at
Yes.
Ken's Market.
Yeah.
Ken's Market has a bunch of local purveyors. You can
They do.
also get Mark's Thai food box there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You sure can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what chutneys are available at Ken's?
Our cilantro chutney, tamarind chutney, and our garlic chutney. So the garlic is not available in our restaurants, and that's the only place you can get it in Seattle.
Good to know.
Amazing.
Is that why you wanted to talk about the smash burger at Ken's?
No, it wasn't actually. I just
Chutney
am
plug.
always surprised when I go there and there's the burgers. I'm like, yep, this is lunch for today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great deal.
Cool. You eat anywhere else?
No, I think we cooked at home a lot this week because our daughter was a little bit sick and stuff, so we were just mostly homebodies. So yeah.
Cool. Sounds nice.
Where'd
How
you
about
go,
Mike?
Meg?
Oh, Jinx.
You first.
I will go first. I had one of the meals of my life at Grand in
Yeah.
Tacoma for Steven's birthday. We were kind of not arguing, but we were not sure where we should go to dinner. We were going to go to Field Bar, but we've been there a million times, you know. We had a few other options. We were going to go to Asado, which is a Roger Weatherhead's spot. He was at Skillet like 20. Now he's been in Tacoma for 20 years.
I was just reading
It's
about
Argentine.
this place.
Yeah, we've only had drinks and snacks there, but they were great. So we were going to try the full meal deal. And then we were like, we've only had drinks and snacks at Grand too. And it looks so unique. So Grand is Southern barbecue with Indian and Creole additions. So It's a fine dining chef and a Southern pitmaster who
Nice.
I believe it's the pitmaster who traveled in India and with his girlfriend, I think, and just had a bunch of food that he loved. And now he's serving his barbecue with it. So we had a garam masala burger with tamarind barbecue, American cheese, mint, chutney aioli, amchur onions. I don't really know what that is. Do you?
Yeah. Amchur is dry mango powder.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. It was delicious. I liked it a lot. That was Steven's birthday meal. He wanted that lamb burger. It was lamb and beef. I had a kale Caesar with curry dressing and paneer and lemon pickle and cornbread croutons. It was incredible. And I was describing this to Mark earlier. The kale was massaged, so it was a little dog-eared. And the leaves were coated, so it wasn't like a slick oil-based dressing. It was almost like a rub, and it clung to the leaves. And then the paneer was chopped very fine, like Parmesan, in the style of Parmesan. It was like they had understudies playing the roles, and then the lemon pickle just elevated the whole salad. It was really an important salad that I've been thinking about a lot. We got the tandoori ribs that were St. Louis style barbecue ribs. It had a different barbecue sauce than the tamarind barbecue. It had cucumber achar. It had another sauce on it too. Really, really good, really succulent. They had a smoked beef biryani that I want to get next time. We had pani puri, and they do regular pani puri with, the soup that you pour in with the garbanzo beans and that. But then they do another one that they fill with pimento cheese and bacon jam, which was amazing. And not pani puri at all. It's just the shell of the pani puri, but it had pimento cheese. It was delicious.
That's fascinating.
The cocktails were great. They did a mango lassi, but it wasn't really a mango. It was just mango and tequila and cardamom. So it's all very creative. It's not in any way Indian food. It's mostly Southern barbecue, but they're just sort of adding spices and they do cocoa bread, like Creole style Caribbean cocoa bread. That's the other thing that was with the ribs.
Nice.
Just really, really delicious creative stuff. It's not any one cuisine. They're just mixing it up.
It sounds like it's 3 different cuisines put together, right?
Yeah, it's just a guy who traveled and thought things were delicious, but still likes making barbecue.
It sounds like they're doing it fairly artfully, though. Like
It's
not
very
just
artful,
like a graveyard, but like let's be intentional.
Yeah,
about
no,
each
it's
one.
very thoughtful cuisine, and it was pretty affordable. It was like between 25 and 30. The barbecue fish, which I think is a bronzino, was 40, but I'm going to get that next time.
Yeah. I had this new fear while you were speaking that like some of these dishes are going to have some of the names that Uttam was talking like we got chai, chat, tikka, non-bread ribs,
I'm trying to reread the menu in my brain and remember how they style it.
comments.
If I fucked up the names, I fucked up the names.
I have a feeling they have non-bread on their menu.
They have naan, then they serve it. I don't know if it's non-bread.
I'll have to check it.
I'm going to look. Oh God, I went to so many places. I went to Cafe Allegro just to do a work sesh.
They just had their 50th anniversary. Did you go for that?
No, I just had to stop by for a minute while I was like fact checking something. That's the
50th anniversary. That's
unassailable Cafe Allegro in the alley at 42nd and the Ave. Beautiful space. It's like a little rabbit's warren of little rooms where you can study. It's obviously been there my whole life since I'm under 50 years old. I just treasure it, and I never ever want it to go away. So I always plug Cafe Allegro whenever I go in.
Fortunately, the coffee is fantastic too.
Yes.
I mean, they're roasting their own coffee. They added a roaster, I think, back in 2014.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're doing really great stuff. And it is a place that is full of atmosphere and mystery, and
It's just a delight.
a treasure.
It's just a delight. I also went to Monorail Espresso and got the burnt cream latte, the original gangster, right?
Seriously.
Downtown.
love
Old Seattleites
Monorail, too.
know. I went to Bar Miriam with Leanie Ramadan. She's like, let's go. I've never been. So we went over there. Bar Miriam is owned by Brian Claudio Smith, who also owns Baker's.
Okay.
And he's just like a high level cocktail motherfucker. Like he's a cocktail historian. So he's going into old books from the 30s and things like that. It's beautiful. He's got a wine, like a bottle shop next door. So we stopped by and got a couple bottles. I got that Greenwood Cider Company cider that I didn't share with you guys. I drank it. It's 10.
How was it?
It was great. They have a red flesh cider that's really good. It almost tastes
We'll
like it
never
has
know, Mark, if it was good or
cinnamon,
not.
and I'll bring it to you because I want more of it. It almost tastes like it has cinnamon in it, but I don't think it does. I just think it's the apple that is so flavorful. I went to the Masonry on Lower Queen Anne, which is in the old Quiznos.
Yeah.
Down by the Met Market. Masonry does wood-fired pizza, salad, meatballs, and then they have a full bar. And the owner also owns Fast Fashion Brewing.
I didn't know
And
that.
it was beautiful. It was actually really good. we just got like, a sausagey pepperoni type pizza. They're R&Ding a tavern pie right now. It wasn't accurate, but it tasted good.
Is tavern pie going to be on the next deep dish?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's
the new fried chicken.
It's well on its way.
It was delicious. I was with my friend Solvi, who's from Iceland, and he didn't know or care about the nuances between regional pizzas.
Yeah.
So he was like, that tastes great. Tastes like pizza.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, speaking of tavern pie, though, I noticed that Pop Pop posted a photo on their Instagram of some keys.
Oh, really?
So
Great. I actually was thinking about Pop Pop the whole time while I was having their perfectly delicious but inaccurate tavern pie.
Yeah, Pop Pop is just exactingly
Beautiful
perfect.
tavern pie. That shit's so good. And is that it? I went to Bob's Java Jive last night for karaoke and it was a party. It's usually just chock-a-block and you can't even get in the door. It's so busy. But Sunday night was perfect.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
I've been singing Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin a lot.
Okay.
Because I can just scream. Like, I don't have a lot of control. I have a small range and a lot of power. I think you and I had chatted about that once. Mark's a crooner and he's got a lot of control.
I mean, I don't croon per se. Like, I'm not trying to fuck around with Sinatra or anything like that.
Well,
but
you sing like Roy Orbison,
I'll
which
do
is in the
some Roy
croon
Orbison.
category, I
I
think.
guess so. Yeah.
Mark's already established that his music knowledge is so much superior than ours. So
It's
Oh my
very
God.
deep and far-reaching. Steven sang Just Like Starting Over by John Lennon, and he's got that real rich, low voice. It sounded great. He transformed it.
Nice.
It's a sweet song.
Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
I don't.
No?
No, I don't do karaoke very often.
You
I think
don't?
I've done
No.
it maybe once or twice in my life.
I thought you were about to bust out.
I thought you were going to like judge us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a piece of
Yeah,
shit. How about
exactly.
this? No? What's your go-to lately, Mark? Karaoke?
My go-to lately has been The Cutter by Echo and the Bunnymen. And that's like
I don't know that. Do I secretly know it and I just don't know the name of it?
you secretly know it
Okay.
and you don't know the name. But I just did it indulgently one time. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to sing. I don't care if no one knows this song. I'm just going to do it. And then, but like everyone knew it. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess this is a valid
Great.
song choice. I never really want to do a song no one knows.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Because that's like,
no one has fun then and stuff.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
exactly.
Claps.
and my assessment of karaoke is you have to think of it as like the music stopped playing at a party.
Yeah.
And you're the person closest to the source of the music. And so it's your job to
Yours.
choose the
Yeah,
song to
yeah,
replay. right?
yeah.
What do you choose? That's your
Yeah.
karaoke song.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not Adele, for Christ's sake.
Christ's sake.
Anyway,
What'd you eat?
I went to Signor Carbone
Oh,
in
great.
Pioneer
Nice.
Square.
Good. Okay.
And they've been open since 2021. I've been meaning to try them since then. This is the first time I've had a chance to go. And it was great. So if people don't know about them, the whole idea is it's Peruvian cuisine, but it's sort of focused on a specific style of Peruvian cuisine called Nikkei,
Okay.
which is kind of a Japanese influenced take. And also chifa, which we talk about with Jose Garzon sometimes, which is sort of a Chinese influence on Latinx cuisine. And so that's what they're doing over there. I got causa crocante Nikkei, which is a mashed potato cake made with a base of ají amarillo, topped with tuna tartare and spicy mayonnaise, sesame oil, and unagi sauce. That was a combination of flavors that slapped.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's-
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, and to me, it's hard to imagine when you hear the combination of Latinx flavors and Japanese flavors. It's kind of like, what would that even be? I have
Yeah.
a hard time imagining that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that was it. Like that dish really
Yeah.
gave those deep, rich,
Yeah.
savory, little sweet, little soy, and then along with some really beautiful raw
Yeah.
tuna.
Whenever I think of the integration of those two cuisines, I always think about ceviche and sushi and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and they have a number of sushi items and variety of ceviches as well. I shied away from those just because I thought, like, I kind of want to try something a little bit more combination.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of informing that choice. I also had a chaufa con tortillo de langostinos. And so that was fried rice with yellow onions, bell pepper, mushrooms, and then topped with a shrimp omelet and the big plump langostino shrimp, which they were cooked perfectly. That was some of the best shrimp texture I've experienced. And kind of in the same price point as Gran. So kind of in that $20 to $30 range for each plate. They had some interesting cocktails. They had chicha morada there.
Nice.
So
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super sweet, but it's good.
Yeah.
And beautiful.
It is, I think, sweeter than the typical U.S. palate, but I mean, I enjoyed it nonetheless. And then I also went to George Coffee and Pastries in the U District.
Oh, nice.
And so this is a fairly new place. They just opened in December in the former fishmonger spot.
Right.
Just off the Ave.
47th.
Yeah. So I always complain about coffee shops having this sort of third wave, ultra minimalist aesthetic. You go in, you're kind of like, did I accidentally take a right turn into a hospital OR or what?
Or it's gray floored, like it looks like a flipped house. Yeah.
Exactly. And so this was not that at all. The aesthetic was so meticulously Art Deco and streamlined modern.
Okay.
I was like, what is happening here? This is
Crazy. In the U District. Wow.
Yeah, it's so cool looking. I thought for a moment I was like, it takes resources to have that level of aesthetic, and I thought, is this church affiliated? Is this church owned? So I looked it up later. It's actually owned by Michael Klebeck. Klebeck. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he co-founded Top Pot Donuts, Mod Pizza, and Sun Liquor.
He's got the dollars.
So he co-founded Top Pot and Mod Pizza?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was only with Mod Pizza until 2009, which I think actually speaks really highly of him.
Yeah,
I really liked their practices. They were kind of famous for being willing to hire people who were formerly incarcerated, which I think is a great a thing to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where the resources come. But they bake their own pastries. I had some really great breakfast stuff there. And then I swung by Laurel and got a strawberry balsamic espresso tonic with strawberry whipped cream.
Killer.
The stuff they're doing there is so beautiful.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we had Kate and Nico on the podcast about a month and a half ago, and they had just opened then, so we didn't have a chance to go before we had them on. But
now they're in full swing.
Finally got over there, and I would say it's even better than I expected it to be.
Cool.
That drink was just fantastic. The barista had been making a strawberry puree just before he came in.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful too. The photos are great.
It's a gorgeous space. And I think that people are making it sound smaller than it is. They actually have a surprising amount of seating in there. Like I would say they have more seating than the average minimalist coffee shop.
Wow.
Because usually the minimalist coffee shop has like that big open space in front of the cash register and like 5 two-tops.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But they have lots of seating there. I mean, it's not a giant amount, but probably like 20.
Dreamy.
Anyway.
Let's all go.
Yeah.
Remember when I used to say that all the time?
Yeah.
Let's all go.
I like it.
In a past life.
In a past life.
Past podcast, I used to say that.
Bring it back, Meg.
Shall we wrap it up?
I think we should wrap it up. We realized that we didn't schedule a guest for next week, so I don't know if we have a coming up next.
Yeah, I think we had a cancellation and never filled the hole. I have sent some emails.
Okay.
I hope it's... I shouldn't say. You should just tune in. We've got a pending confirmation.
All right.
It's someone good.
I'm going to get this episode edited way faster than last episode, and then maybe if someone wants to be on, like, hit us up.
We would love offers. If we don't want you, we just won't respond. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
What an interesting and unique conversation. Like you're the numbers guy and the metrics guy, and it's valuable info. Like it's good content.
Thank you.
For other people, obviously, but also for me, like some bozo who's never owned a restaurant. I'm like, oh, right, I should be thinking about this stuff in my coverage. You know, it's questions that I should be asking. So
yeah.
I'm glad to hear it from you.
Everyone go to Spice Waala and get a fucking delicious kathi roll.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Go to
chop
Ken's Market and get some chutney.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to do. I'll do them both.
Yeah. Killer food, killer person.
All right.
He's not a killer, though.
He won't kill you. Kill free.
All right. That's it for
Bye,
now,
everybody.
everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.